Hartford, Connecticut, the Forest Wood Open. And first things first, this is where we decide the Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year. The two front runners, Rick Clunn and Denny Brower.
I think it'd be great if we both caught them really good both days, and it, you know, the dramatics of it right down to the end, and I win.
Lake Kissimmee, Sam Rayburn, Beaver Lake, Kentucky Lake. Those are the other tour stops. And pro anglers can only receive points on the first two qualifying days. Now, after day one here on the Connecticut River, Denny Brower moved way ahead of the pack. And his only fish here on day number 2 solidified his status as the Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year.
The fish is shaped just like a Wheaties box, you notice that?
This year's Walmart FLW Tour Angler of the Year, Denny Brower. I truly need to start with my family. The support I get there, as those of you that follow this sport and follow the tour well know, is tremendous. My wife even practiced with me for this tournament. She didn't find enough fish. She made me kind of nervous before it was all over. But my son and I work real closely together, and I think that's what makes this so special.
Well, Denny Brower is our Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year, but now our business at hand, the Forest Wood Open, the richest event in all of bass fishing. Now, oddly enough, Denny Brower did not survive the cut, wasn't with us here on the third day, a day that saw Frank Free, you see him here from Beaufort, Georgia, in spite of his partner Randall Hudson's net job here, take home the non-boater prize of $40,000 out of the $1 million purse here on the Connecticut River. Right now, we want you to meet the final 5 pros who'll fish for the first prize.
My name is Terry Bolton. I'm 28 years old, and I'm from Paducah, Kentucky. I'm the 5th place boater, and I'm fishing for $200,000. I don't know. I just kind of found an area and got a little confidence in it, and I've just stayed in it and fished so far. I said all week, the people up here in the Northeast, they seem like they take a little better care of their fishery, I think, than some areas. And they've got some real quality fish in here. Like I said, I've only had 6 bites in you know, the last 3 days, but they've weighed 18 pounds. Those are good fish anywhere in the country.
I'm Mike McClellan from Fayetteville, Arkansas. I'm 30 years old, and I'm fishing for $200,000. I really think the fishery's better than what we've actually seen this week. Like I said, I was here last fall and caught some real quality fish. I've fished tournaments for quite a while and seen the sport grow, and it's just amazing to me that it's actually paying what it is now. And I feel like that, you know, the age I am, I've got a long future ahead of me as long as I keep doing things like this.
My name's Jerry Williams, and I'm from Conway, Arkansas, and I'm 51 years old. I've been fishing professionally now for 5 years, and yesterday was the first day I have weighed in a limit of smallmouth. It's unbelievable that we can actually come up here and fish for $200,000. I mean, that's a lot of money. Lots of athletes don't make that kind of money. And here we are doing it, fishermen, professional fishermen. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to us.
My name's Jim Moyna from Hopkins, Minnesota, 33 years old. And I'm last year's Forest Wood Open champion, so I'm here to defend. And it's getting to be where bass fishing is something that is done in, you know, every part of the country. I struggle at times when I go to some of those southern reservoirs and fish in the cold water. It just happens to be that this is another northern area. I guess the north is good to me.
My name's Randall Hudson. I'm southwest Missouri, around Washburn, Missouri, right down the southwest corner. I'm 49 years old, and I'm fishing for $200,000, but I can't believe it. And now then we've got $100,000 tournaments there. We're in 200 of all that, and now we're going to have $250,000. I love it.
Welcome, you have made it. This is the world's richest bass fishing tournament, the $1 million Forest Wood Open. We're glad you're here. I'm Tommy Sanders, and we are here on the Connecticut River, the largest, longest river in New England. As a matter of fact, it drains an area twice the size of the state of Connecticut. It is an impressive fishery, but this week especially, it's putting some tremendous obstacles between the 5 anglers who are fishing for the title and the $200,000 first prize. To tell us about some of those obstacles, let's go upstream a little bit to Jerry McInnes. Jerry?
Boy, obstacles is right, Tommy. I am at the Hadley Dam here. We're probably 20 miles above you on the Connecticut River, of course. And man, in the past 10 days, there's been some terrible floods in all of New England, and many of the tributaries are pouring into the Connecticut River, and this baby is probably 10 or 12 foot higher than normal. Man, there's a wall of water coming across this dam. That's an awesome sight. And you might be wondering, how in the world are these fishermen going to be able to cope with something like that? Well, as always, we started with 150 anglers here, and 5 of them figured out something pretty special enough to let them continue for one more day and allow them to fish for $200,000.
I'm the 5th place boater, and I'm fishing for $200,000.
I'm fishing for $200,000.
We can actually come up here and fish for $200,000. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yes! I love it.
The Walmart FLW Tour is brought to you by Walmart. Always low prices, always Walmart. By Evinrude Intruder 150 with fixed fuel injection. By Ranger Boats, still building legends, one at a time. And by Land O'Lakes, the good things in life never really change.
We won't do anything that's unsafe. It's just riding a river at flood stage with a lot of debris is unsafe enough as it is when it's bright, clear skies. You know, you can usually avoid it if you're careful and watch what you're doing. But trying to navigate in the fog is just impossible. And we'd never do anything to get anybody hurt. No matter how nervous these guys get and want to go out, we just can't do that, and we'll not do that for the safety's sake.
So fog and, of course, the high water are playing a big part in this event. And what happens if they can't go?
Guys, I think they voted that we're going to go on yesterday's weight.
No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
Well, let's get a deck of cards instead of that. I have a better chance.
If I get to fish 15 minutes, I'm okay.
15 minutes?
15.
That's all I need.
I think it'd take me 20.
It's going to take me longer than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Randall's going to catch 5 in 20, I think.
He's got them. He's the only guy.
Yeah, he's on them.
His shoes out, I'd just be happy. I'd be smiling.
Well, I'm happy to be here. I don't care if I catch fish. Well, I do care, but, but I'm sure proud to be here.
It's a good feeling when the worst thing that happened to you, you make $30,000.
It's really hard to get down on that, ain't it?
Boy, I've looked at this deal. I live right there where Walmart is, so my wife's always been able to shop at Walmart. I figure I'm getting my investment back.
Well, Jerry, after a 2-hour delay, things are finally looking better. And, of course, every angler handles that news a different way.
Making me awful nervous.
All right, I guess we're putting the boat in the water. Doesn't mean we're going yet, but at least we're getting something done here. Want to get fishing.
5 or 6 pounds might take home the money.
We're really not going to get any of the prime low tide conditions. But I'm not making excuses. Somebody's going to win this darn thing. And I'm going to try to make sure it's me, but we'll see.
Finally on the road.
Finally on the road, and yes, we've lost 2 hours of fishing time, but it's the same for each one of these anglers. And yes, the water is high, but again, equal for all 5 of these fishermen.
And these guys have really got some decisions to make, of course. Should they go on their long runs? Should they fish closely? And shoot, they've been here for a week or so, so they all have a number of good places to go to. They've got some good choices. Jerry Williams' choice is 10 minutes from the ramp.
Good fish. Go, no. Man, about a 3-pound smallmouth. Oh, my goodness.
There you go, Jerry Williams from Conway, Arkansas, fishing within sight of the skyline of downtown Hartford.
And that had to be the first, maybe 3 or 4 casts of the day. Jerry's fishing a tube bait. A lot of these guys are fishing a little bit smaller lures than normal. Small jigs, small plastic baits. The problem is, I bet a lot of them are going to be forcing the fishing too fast.
Yeah, that's harder to shake off than the time.
Boy, it absolutely is. And these guys are finding quite a few fish, but most of them are a little bit small. So losing that one really hurts.
I really shouldn't be complaining. That's the second fish I've lost all week. Lost one yesterday, about 2 pounds, and then I lost that one, and that's not a bad. Out of 18, I've caught 18, 5, 23. 23 keepers and lose 2. So normally when you're dealing with smallmouth, the ratio is probably a little worse than that. But that one hurt big time.
You know, people have been living up on this river for a long, long time, so that means there are so many bridges, different types of structures all up and down, Jerry.
Yeah, and obviously Jerry is zeroed in on some of them. He's also working the currents, and he's actually working the eddies. That's where these fish are at.
He's a baby, but he'll work.
That's actually the Dexter manufacturing facility there where Jerry just caught that fish. Here's Randall Hudson. I believe he's up at the Route 190 bridge close to Enfield.
And kind of check out the watercolor when you can here. The watercolor back in here is a little bit, a little greener than what Jerry Williams was fishing in. Obviously, Jerry was out on the main river, and I bet we'll see some spots where the water is coming back into the area Randall's fishing right here. So this is off of the main current, and Tommy, of course, Randall's fishing light line here, and he's fishing for smallmouth bass.
Yeah, and he scores, so that ties him with Jerry Williams so far.
This is a pretty popular little place back in here. I think throughout the qualifying days, several of the guys fished here, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see guys that we have left here amongst our 5. We'll see 1 or 2 of them in here along with Randall. And there's where the water is coming in. There's the main lake right out in front of us.
Well, they've had some rain, haven't they?
Oh, man, they have. And it's swirling, and it moves back in this little area. And Randall actually has a bunch of smallmouth in this area here.
Kind of interesting to see the little bitty line and the little lures and everything. Yeah. It's not what we usually see out here.
That's right. Randall's fishing with 8-pound test line. He said that fish came back on him. Wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have it all the time. That's a famous trick of a smallmouth is pick up a bait and run at you, and you lose contact with him.
I hope you get it on both shoots if I can.
Could be the second fish of the day pretty soon here.
A lot of action. A lot of action back in these places, and most of them are smallmouth bass.
13-incher.
Well, in spite of these overflowing banks, the Connecticut River, pretty darn impressive and a great place, challenging place to host our Forest Wood Open presented by Everstar.
And I just want to stop on the end of this wall, see if I get some, but it looks like it's dirty water has come out. No, there's one right there. Ah! Ugh.
Terry Bolton, and that look says it all for his start today, Jerry.
This little spot saved me right here yesterday. I pulled up here yesterday about 10 o'clock and caught 3 in about 5 flips.
Mike McClellan from Fayetteville, Arkansas. First time we've seen him out here on the Walmart FLW Tour, and boy, he has broken into it in a big way, fishing for the $200,000 first prize. He's found him placed pretty close to the ramp there, Jerry, I believe.
Yeah, he's fishing this bridge structure, obviously, and you know, you get to thinking about a structure on a big reservoir, big impoundment, and you think that
Don't believe that was going to be big enough.
No, I don't believe it will either.
Pretty close.
It needs to be 12 inches. But you don't really think about the structure that's in a river. There's lots of it. It's just in a different farm normally. A bridge piers. We were watching Jerry Williams fish earlier around some concrete foundations next to an old factory, and Randall Hudson is also fishing bridge piers here, and
he's staying on that one.
He's got a dandy, man. I'm not kidding you.
Can't blame it. Wow, that's a good fish.
That's one of the better smallmouth. That's what Randall Hudson is doing up there. Obviously, man, in the qualifying rounds, he and some other guys caught some dandy smallmouth, up to 4 pounds. And boy, these guys are fishing in places where there are lots of smallmouth.
It's happening a little quicker this morning. Just like a little bit as big, but that don't matter. Huh? Pound 3/4. Oh, they're biting. Yeah, that's good. That's great. Hungry. And I'm hungry. Gosh, and I'm nervous. Hadn't had this much fun, I don't know when. I think I wasn't this nervous when I got married. Oh, no. Go fishing. Go back to fishing.
Randall's telling himself to just settle down now, forget the situation, and just fish.
I think Jim changed his plan today. I think he decided to shorten up his run a little. I don't know where he was going, but I heard him say he had to tell the camera boat a new place. So he probably shortened up his run today.
Randall is talking about Jim Moyna there, and actually Jim has not shortened up his run at all. He's losing almost 3 hours traveling his entire trip that he's been making downstream towards the ocean. Boy, we hope it's worth it. We're watching the Forest Wood Open. Last year's champion of the Forest Wood Open, Jim Moyna, won the $200,000, and he's trying as hard as he can to repeat.
I think he's fishing on dry land here, isn't he?
Is he standing on a...
Isn't it amazing how different this water looks, the water that Jim's fishing, as compared to Randall Hudson?
Absolutely.
And Jerry Williams. This is like Moyna has left the country and he's in a completely different lake.
Looks like he's down in Venezuela somewhere or something.
Obviously, he is way down the river, and there are more bushes, and you know, the normal structure that we tend to look for, and largemouth instead of smallmouth.
Right, and the length limit is exactly the same for both, 12 inches, so Jim Moyna is now on the board.
I guess it will be 12 inches. Oh, yeah. 12 3/4. Could be, it's not a very big one, but could separate me from several $1,000s later here today. Could be a difference between 50, 100, who knows.
I tell you what, Jim Moyna would be a lot tougher if he had a little bit more time. This late start really put him behind the 8 ball, but I tell you what, he could still catch up down here in a hurry.
Nice net job. La-dee-da-dee-da.
Jim Moyna seems pretty happy right now. He did give up a lot of time with that run, but as you say, Jerry, he can still catch up.
It ain't over yet. That's for sure. Bunch more to go.
Can you find Jerry Williams in this picture right here? As you can see right now, Jerry is just behind Randall Hudson. Randall with 3 fish and 4 pounds, followed by Jim Moyna and the rest of the pack here. We got ourselves a good race going.
And you know, Jerry is really buried there. And you know, a little bit about the rules here. Every cameraman must be in sight of his fisherman, or else there's no observer for the fisherman. So Jerry's buried back there pretty far, but the cameraman is right on him.
We can see you, Jerry.
Yeah, we know.
No funny stuff.
And also, this is tidal water, too. We're talking about up and down high flooding water, but it's also regulated by the tide.
How about them apples, sports fans?
I really kind of got my dad interested in fishing. I mean, it was something I always wanted to do. And so when we started spending time together and fishing, we just had a lot closer relationship. You know, we went camping and fishing, and I can remember he used to take me out of school to fish. It's just been an awesome experience together. Since I got out of painting, he has also, and he's making a product called the Pro Locker. It's a rod carrying case. So he travels around to a lot of the sports shows that I do in the spring and winter months of the year. So it's pretty neat to be able to spend time with him that way too. He doesn't get to fish near as much as he used to. Saw a fish right in here just as I eased up in here. I got it. There he is. That's a, oh! That's one you'll be sorry about. Ooh. That was a nice one. I saw that fish cruise up through there and pitched up there, and he ate it. At least now we know they're going to bite a little bit today.
Jerry Williams has found his way out of the jungle into what is either the escape tunnel from a prison or just a really big culvert.
This could be good. Might not catch fish, but it could be awesome back in here. We'll get back here and get eaten by a 9-pound smallmouth. A 90-pound won't ever be back.
The Walmart FLW Tour is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Enjoy. By Wheaties, Breakfast of Champions. Jerry, if you ask me, I don't care how good a fisherman you are, the story of this tournament, you know, the odds against a guy winning the $200,000 tournament and then coming back the next year and making it into the top 5. Jim Moyna has done just that, and the only guy that doesn't seem surprised to me is Jim Moyna. Why is that, Jim?
I felt I was due to make a top 10 appearance. I have fished, you know, all the other FLW tournaments on the tour this season without a top 10, and boy, I felt I was overdue. Yeah, I knew I had a decent pattern. And execution went pretty good, and the fish cooperated.
Elaborate on that pattern, Jim. Tell us a little bit more about how it fell in place.
I knew there was an area where there was some fish, and I caught one in there. I couldn't really figure out how to catch more. Fortunately, I ran into a guy from Minnesota, Craig Wickland. He's also in the tournament, and he kind of gave me a little tip. He said, Jim, the fish are real finicky, which it seemed like I kind of was thinking that already. And he said, Jim, you got to throw something that'll fall really slow. And with that information, I went back to this one area where I'd only caught one, and I had about 10 bites in there on the last day of practice.
So you have to get your bait to fall a lot slower. What does that mean? Are you changing line? Are you changing the actual lure size?
What that means for me is just rig your plastic worm on the hook without any weight at all. Throw it out there and just the weight of the hook will slowly pull that plastic down.
Well, I tell you what, and Tommy, I'm sure will agree with me here, man. We sure like to see you catch fish because you're the most enthusiastic fish catcher.
Absolutely. I think what? Good luck, Jim Moyna. I guess we'll see you back at the weigh-in.
There's one on the bed there. He had like the back of this thing. There's one up here spawning, I believe. He's got it. Oh. It's about a 1.5 to 2 pound fish, by the way. Over this way now. Oh, got it like that. He went. Got him.
Jim Moyna has found himself another fish. The long run's looking better all the time.
And you know what? He seems to get some momentum up as the day goes on. Remember up in Minnesota at Lake Minnetonka, boy, he caught that one big bass.
Oh, and that just set him off.
He was never headed off from that point. And these are pretty good fish. They're weighing more than the other guy's smallmouth bass. So the other guys better be catching them the size of this one right here. Look at Jerry Williams go here, Tommy. And I told you somebody else would be back at that bridge.
Familiar place, isn't it? All this river to work with, but these guys know where the fish are, and that's where you're going to find them.
They're just too wild.
Yahoo!
Sorry about that. That's a good one, though. It's hard enough all day long. I lost one that size this morning. That hurt when I lost it.
Well, that did hurt him this morning. If he hadn't lost that fish, he'd have the lead, the upper hand right here today. And he's still fishing that small plastic bait. You can see it right there.
That's a tube jig that Arky has come out with. It's got a rattle built into it.
Mike McClellan catching a ton of fish today, but most of them are small. And he is in the same place, fishing around that bridge pier. And, of course, the high, muddy water have kind of cornered these guys and made them fish in specific spots.
Could have been a fish in there. Crank it up, back it out. We're going to go to another spot.
Yeah, fishy, fishy, fishy.
Hartford, Connecticut, the world's richest bass fishing tournament, the Forest Wood Open, and we've got a great tournament going on. 5 guys knotted up there. The 3 at the top with 6 pounds, Jerry Williams, 5 pounds, Jim Moyna, 5 pounds, Randall Hudson, and we're headed to Randall's spot right now. And boy, I tell you what, he has drawn himself a crowd.
Never fished with a gallery like this one?
Never in my life, but I'm loving it. I've never fished for this kind of money either.
Few of us have fished for that kind of money, Jerry, but we'd all love to.
Hey, let me tell you, Randall's got a beautiful place right here. He's up in infield, and on his right is a little creek, Webster Creek. He has a tremendous audience there. There must be 50 people, and he's right at the ramp on his left.
Come on, big boys, where you at? Come on, big boys.
Jim Moyna here faced with a long trip back home, and he is quickly running out of time.
No worm. I think I just got robbed. There might be a fish right over there swimming around with my lure.
Jim, as you can tell, fishing with a plastic worm, and Tommy's doing a little bit different now. He has no slip sinker on his bait. He has no weight at all. He's just putting it on with the worm hook and letting it slowly drift to the bottom. After it hits the water, it just slinks real slow.
Let's try that again, right over there. Got him. That looks like the one I saw. That's about the size of the one I saw. You got another worm down there somewhere, pal?
Fourth fish now for Jim Moyna. This is a tight race despite the late start.
And he's fishing for spawning bass, which is, again, so different than the guys up above fishing for smallmouth.
Okay. Possibly earning some money here.
Well, Jerry Williams says there's no need to worry about all these troubles with the Connecticut River. You just fish it like you fish his home river, the Arkansas River, and everything will be all right. Is that right, Jerry?
Well, I keep thinking it's going to be all right. You know, you got to adapt. You got to be able to do different things. And I come up here to my #1 hole, and evidently they got a major rain up here last night. Yeah, it's muddy, and then I went to a secondary hole, and it's muddy. So there's lots of current now, and the river is actually more clear than the water that I've been fishing. That gives you an indication how muddy it is.
Hey, well, Jerry, did you have any plan at all? Did you envision any direction to begin with, or were you just pretty open to anything?
You know, it's anything can happen. So I came up with an open mind, not knowing exactly what I was going to do. I practiced the middle part of the lake and caught some smallmouth there. And I went down to where everybody's catching fish now and where the tournament guys are, a lot of those guys are catching them, and I couldn't catch them in there. To mount anything, so I decided that, well, I'll stay in the middle part of the lake and fish a spinnerbait for smallmouth. But fortunately, it rained. Changed everybody else's fish up, and I didn't have anything to lose, so I know I did what I know what to do best, and that's river fish and go north, away from everybody.
You know what's bad? I can't even get a pike to bite today.
Old Terry Bolton may be the forgotten man today. He's had such a tough day. I believe this is his first fish, Jerry.
Remember, he beat 145 guys to get here, though. Oh, no, 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 no. Ooh.
I hope he didn't get that dance trick there. That's about a 2-pounder. I might just sit right here for the next 20 minutes. Dadgum, that's 2 good ones I lost today. Can't win money losing them like that.
Randall Hudson from Washburn, Missouri has picked a heck of a tournament to make his television debut in, wouldn't you say? Here in the top
around Table Rock.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, from around Table Rock Lake, and he is up here in the Connecticut River fishing in shallow, fast-moving water. And Randall, it seems like you've just made all the right moves, man.
So far, I feel like I have.
I'm struggling a little bit right now, but I'm still fishing.
Hey, how about take the French fry that you're fishing with and put it in your hand and let us have a good look at it, and you kind of explain exactly what it's all about.
What I'm throwing right now is a little 3-inch lizard, little chartreuse tail pumpkin. Lucky Strike makes it. It's got a scent impregnated in it, and it's called their Enforcer series, and it's a really good little lizard for finessing. It's small enough that if they don't want to bite, they'll still bite it. But what I've caught most of them on has been a French fry. And that's this little Lucky Strike French fry. It's got the same scent in it. It's a pumpkin brown, I guess you might call it, and it's real soft, and they seem to like it pretty well.
And what kind of a weight are you using?
I'm throwing 1 ounce or 1/8 ounce.
Split shot. Sometimes I'll get a little heavier where I got to fish a heavier current.
We have to just assume that you're fishing it real slow and carefully.
Oh, it's terrible slow. It's driving me crazy. It's so slow.
Randall, it's happened so fast, this whole tournament. We haven't had a whole lot of time to learn a lot about your background.
This is your first appearance in the top 10 or the top 5, to say the least, here on the Walmart FLW Tour. Tell us how long you've been tournament fishing, where you learned how to fish, and what other things you do for a living.
I've been fishing as long as I can remember. Now, I've only bass fished for the last 11 years. My dad, he was a crop farmer in West Texas, and I can remember praying for rain, because when we'd get rain, that means Dad couldn't go to the field, but we could go to the creek and or the lake, and I'd always pray for rain, so we'd go fishing. But moved to Missouri, and I had a good friend that was a bass fisherman, and I always crappied and catfished, and he got me to go to a little tournament one night, and we come in third place in it. And I sold all my crappie my fishing gear, crappie fishing gear, and went and bought $11,000 bass boat the next day.
Well, like Terry Bolton, Mike McClellan is finally kicking in here. He's close to the launch ramp, though, so he can fish a good long while. You can see there with a limit, Jerry Williams, about 6 pounds. Jim Moyna, I wish we could have stayed with him.
He's the one we need to know about.
He had 4 fish. Did he catch another one before he headed back? He's on his way back now.
He was looking strong there for a while. He was really on a roll, so no telling what he did.
Still got time.
Come on, 4-pound bite. Come on, 4 pound. 4 pound. You'll make my day.
What time you got left?
I got to be down there at 2 o'clock. I got about 30 minutes left to fish. Oh, there's a nice one. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. It's a black. Largemouth. Largemouth. Woo! Thank you for that, Lord. Thank you for that. Oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you, thank you. God, what a struggle.
Watching these boats head back to the launch ramp, you can guess what time it is now, just about weigh-in time. We've been watching Randall Hudson. We have a good idea about his weight. The weights of Jim Moyna, Jerry Williams, still a little bit of guesswork in that, but one thing's for sure, this may be remembered as the tournament that's all about the ones that got away.
Good fish. Go! No!
Oh, no.
I got it. There he is. That's a go. That's one you'll be sorry about. Ooh.
Oh, no, 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 no.
No, there's one right there.
I hope he didn't get that dance trick there.
The boats have almost reached the weigh-in tent here. You talk about 5 guys who are churning inside. They've done everything they can do. Now it's just a matter of what did the other guy do. That's what separates you from the $200,000 first prize.
It's over, baby.
Bolton had a tough day. Mike McClellan's limit was too small, so we're left with 3 fishermen.
Randall Hudson still our leader with 8 pounds and 6 ounces. Jerry Williams, you are looking for 3 pounds, 8 ounces. Everything's good. This is do or die. It's got to be 3 pounds, 8 ounces right here.
£2, 4 ounces.
Oh, man. Well, that's all for Jerry. That's his total limit. And Jerry, I knew you set out from the dock this morning with every bit of confidence in the world, and you got up to your place and things had changed quite a bit. Is that not right?
Yeah, well, evidently it rained pretty hard up there. I was going up to Springfield, Massachusetts, and it rained quite a bit, and it muddied everything I was doing up. So, you know, I really got lucky and fortunate to catch a limit. You know, the sad part is I lost a 3.5-pound bass this morning, and I lost another one about this afternoon. But that stuck with me all day long. If I'd had that, you know, if I'd had that fish, I'd have won it. Yeah. I think so.
Out here on the Walmart FLW Tour, your year has been great. 2 top 5 finishes, and the season isn't even over yet. You'll be there at the Tour Championship. You got to have a great outlook on life right now.
Yeah, I've had a good year with the FLW. This is the first year I've had it. I've had a 1 top 20, a top 10, and 2 top 5. So I'm not complaining. I think, and I fish other circuit, you know, too, but this is by far going away. This is where the pros need to be, and I think you know, and all the good pros are right here. So
that's exactly right. Another big hand for Jerry Williams. Randall Hudson, your leader, with 8 pounds and 6 ounces. Jim Moyna has weighed in 4 fish, may or may not have a 5th fish. He didn't tell us whether he had another one or not. We'll just find out here in just a second. But right now we're going to do what we always do at this moment on the Walmart FLW Tour. When the tension gets so thick you can cut it with a knife, and the air in here so thick you can cut it with a knife, what we do is we take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. The Walmart FLW Tour is brought to you by Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks. By Everstart, the name says it all. By Mitchell, we know the water. And by Igloo, it's for keeps. All right, Randall Hudson, you see him right there, your leader with 8 pounds, 6 ounces. He's weighed in a tournament limit of 5 fish. Jim Moyna, if he has a 5th fish, needs 1 pound, 3 ounces to win the $200,000. Jim Moyna from Hopkins, Minnesota. Randall, step on up here. We want you up real close. Oh, wait a minute, no. The champ right there. Let's hear it. Randall Hudson. Let you just stand here for a minute, drink it in, think of something to say, but that doesn't always work. I know way back when you were a little kid growing up in East Texas, you told us that great story. You worked on the farm. You used to pray for rain so you could go down to the creek and fish. You learned your lesson well, and it's really paid off today.
I'm speechless right now. Yeah, I owe it all to my dad and my grandpa, and they used to take me fishing every chance they could, which wasn't often, but I just love the sport. And I got a friend or two in Missouri that got me into the bass fishing. I guess I owe it to them too. And my wife and my children, because they've supported me, and even when I was on bottom, they'd always keep me pumped up and keep me going. And I've had a rough year and a half lately, and now it's been worth it. I stayed in there. I've got to thank some people. Guido, Dion, Stacy King, Jim Akins. I had a misfortune happen to me a year and a half ago. I lost everything I had, and I was going to quit. I said, I'm done. I can't take it anymore. And Guido called me, and he said, you get yourself down here. He said, we've got enough stuff. We're going to get you back to going. And Guido, Stacy, Dion, Jim, I thank you much for pushing me on back into it.
All right. Randall, yeah, a hand for all his friends. Nobody does it alone. Randall, for everyone who's out there, every young person who's dreaming of winning $200,000, of being in top of the fishing world, tell them what they need to concentrate on. Tell them what they need to think about.
Think about your ability and have faith in yourself. do your thing. Do what you like to do, Beth, if you want to fish, and never give up. Don't ever give up on your dream. Stay with it. It'll happen.
All right, well, it happened for him. One more big hand for Randall Hudson.
How about a Fuji flashback? And how about that fish that Hudson caught in the last 15 minutes?
Oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you. God, what a struggle. God, what a struggle.
We want to get Jim Moyna up here real quick and talk to him. Randall, stay right there. Jim Moyna. What a great angler. When you won the $200,000 last year, you hadn't done a whole lot yet on the Walmart FLW Tour. He said, well, he's a boy fishing on his home lake in Minnetonka. We'll never hear from him again. Not only did you come back here, throughout this year, you did a great job. You made it into the Tour Championship before you even made it into the top 5 here. We think you're a heck of a fisherman.
Well, thank you. I sure put a lot of effort into it, like all the other fishermen do, obviously. But I don't know, it's this tournament, I owe a lot to Craig Wickland. He was the other guy from Minnesota, one of the other guys. He kind of helped me out with the pattern a little bit. I'd been struggling. I had this area where I knew there were some fish, but I had problems getting the bite, and Craig Wickland, he kind of helped me point me in the right direction. I caught my fish throwing a weightless worm. Most all my fish came on that. I caught a few on a Texas rig hula grub, but that slow fall seemed to be the key. You know, in those early rounds when there were a lot of boats in the area, that slow fall is what they really responded to. Seemed to get the bites where, you know, the guys that were fishing fast lures, they, you know, they maybe had half as many bites.
I guess the words Forest Wood Open will always mean something pretty important to you, huh?
That's right. And it's just merely coincidence that it's, you know, it's the Forest Wood Open again where I've done good. You know, I try as hard as I can in every event, and it's a nice coincidence to have it turn out to be, you know, a huge money tournament.
Well, great job. You're a great angler, great champion as well from last year. Jim Moyna, everybody, right there.